Hi everybody, back again for another installment of the 3 and 30 alphabet challenge. Today is I for index cards, and I've got some avocado die and tea dyed index cards. So we're going to be working with those, and then I have some little scraps of paper, scrapbook paper, and some coffee and tea dyed doilies, and little bits of flowers, strawberries, stickers, ribbon, all kinds of stuff. So let's get started. Just to remind you, this is voiced over. So yeah, and it's been a while since I did this video, so bear with me. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the avocado die index card and go ahead and put a little divot in there, and then the same for the small tea dyed. Actually, I changed my mind because I liked the back side of that one, so I was decided to use it for a journaling card. So the big one's going to be a pocket, and I decided to pick out a few pieces of scrap paper that coordinated. Decided to go with the green and use my square punch to punch out some small squares. Set that aside. Do the same for the plaid, and I decided to go with the striped one with kind of kind of a thin piece of paper, so the punch didn't really like it. But with some sherbet colored stripes, and then the polka dots, wanted to get a variety of colored pink polka dots in there, so chose that side. I liked the round dots. Again, another thin piece of paper, so I had to trim that off. That punch is a little bit dull, I think, in that one spot, so it didn't like the thinner thinner paper. Did okay with the cardstock, just fine. Went with the lighter pink. That was a small polka dot pattern. And I went with the light kind of geometric floral. And the avocado green. So with these, I decided to kind of pull together coordinating patterns and colors. Had a sticker left on that cardstock I had to get off. So here I'm just trying to figure out like which patterns and which colors go best together and how I wanted to arrange them. And I decided to go with kind of like a little diamond pattern So it kind of reminded me of the Argyle. But it was, you know, slightly different. Kind of a play on the Strawberry Shortcake Argyle, but having a little fun. So just gluing the little layers together. And then I decided I was gonna decorate the front of the pocket with that. And then I had to figure out the spacing. So that the little diamonds fit properly across the index card pocket. And I alternated the colors too, between kind of like a pink forward and the green forward. Although the one on the very right hand side had some green on it, it still had that pink and orange. And then I decided to actually do, for this one, kind of a belly band effect. So you could tuck, once it goes into the journal, you'll be able to tuck something into the pocket, but then also tuck something inside the little belly band of diamond shapes. So I decided to start decorating with some of the strawberry ephemera, and I liked the big strawberry, so I went with that. Thank goodness for fingernails. Went ahead and stuck that down the middle. Had to like find something to keep it from sticking. So that was the first item. And for the second one, I was trying to decide how I wanted to decorate this one. I kind of had a similar went ahead and put the diamond shapes behind the ribbon. Trying to figure out an easier way to do that. Went ahead and glued on the back and then placed the squares in the diamond position on the back. And that one was overlapped, or was a little bit poking out the backside, so I went ahead and overlapped them a little bit just to make sure they all lined up underneath the ribbon. And there's the little decoration for that one. And I opted not to do a belly band for this one. I just tacked it down with some art glitter glue positioned right in the middle. And then I kind of tried to decide how I wanted to kind of tie up the ends. And I decided when I put it in the journal, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch around the outside of it with a zigzag. So I decided that one was good enough. Item number 2 is done. So now on to the journaling card. I really like the design, the tea-dye on that side, so I wanted to kind of keep it so that it can be a journaling spot. So decided to use some avocado dyed doily and just do some collaging on this side. And I wanted to make sure I didn't tear off too much. I just got a little quarter piece. Start tacking that down with some more glitter glue. Just press it down with the wet wipe. Try to get a little bit of that glue picked up. And then I decided to kind of mirror the same concept down on the bottom with the avocado dye. Probably put more glue than I really needed. But better safe than sorry, right? I like to clean up after myself when I'm crafting. It's kind of funny. You wouldn't know it to look at my craft room. But so now to decide how I want to decorate, I had a little extra time for this one, so I went ahead and just took my time trying to figure it out. I liked that green stripe with the pink and the white with the avocado dye, and the little light pink strawberry worked for that. But I wanted to kind of give it some pizzazz, so I used my little scallop scissors and scalloped the edges. Decided to use the glue stick for that one. And I couldn't decide where I wanted to put the little puffy strawberry, but I decided that the bottom was not a good idea, because if it's tucked into a pocket or something, then that kind of limits being able to use a bottom pocket. I'd have to find an upper tuck to stick it on there. So I decided to go with some little punched out flowers, the light pink side. And of course, too much glue again. And I wasn't too happy with how kind of it seemed to kind of blend in a little bit. So I tried using the oxide, Distress Oxide Tattered Rose, but didn't really make a difference. So, but I went ahead and used it anyways. I was trying to decide what else to put on there, but the red strawberries, I don't know. Didn't really work on top of it, but I liked it kind of popping out like that. So again, thank goodness for fingernails. Went ahead and tucked it in there and layered it on. And at this point, decided to trim the excess of the doily off, just to clean it up a little bit. And that took a little bit longer than it needed to. I was trying to be very precise. And I just wasn't felt like it needed more. Kept going back to the little pink strawberry. Oh, sorry. And I decided I wanted to bring some strawberry shortcake in. So I took that little bit of fabric and I fussy cut it around her. Gotta figure out what the proper tool is for this job. My fussy cutting scissors was not cutting it. No pun intended there. But yeah, so those are actually sewing scissors, but I use them for paper most of the time. They're still sharp enough that I can use them on most fabric stuff. So that worked pretty good. I just trimmed off that little bit that was already kind of cut off and frayed. And then I decided on where I wanted to put her. And if there was any other little bits that I wanted to put on. Nope, that one didn't work. Thought that was kind of cute, but I didn't like the white, stark white on the inside of it. It's too much white. So at that point I just decided to tack her down. I didn't like having just the 2 flowers there. That was bugging me, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And I was kind of second guessing the strawberry plant, so I went ahead and took that off. Luckily it wasn't too stuck down. So took a little bit of finagling, but finally got it. No use in getting rid of it because it's still good. Still scratching my head about the bottom. And going through my scraps, trying to figure out if there was something I wanted to put there. And I decided for a little contrast I would do another little punch out flower. This one had a green stripe pattern on it, and I thought that would look good with the pink florals. It's kind of a grouping of 3, but a little bit of contrast. So I got the 3 items pretty much done, but then I decided I would kind of just play around with them a little bit. Went ahead and dulled the edges of the thumb tucks in the pockets. They just seemed a little bit abrupt, I guess. So I like that. And then I decided to play around a little bit. I had these little modeling clay or polymer clay strawberries, so went ahead and added a few of those. Good old rule of 3. I had a lot of glue on my fingers too. And those little strawberries are so like delicate, tiny. But I thought they'd look really cute on the tops and the bottoms of those squares. So I added those. Thought that was cute. And then just left that one the way it was. I like that. I liked having the little belly band on the pocket. So you could tuck something there. And then tuck something behind. And then our little journaling card. And you can write on the front and the back. So that was kind of cool. And can't remember what I was thinking of doing. Oh, putting a little, getting a little klutzy. Decided to put a little pull tab on there. And around the corners. Sometimes when I've collaged on stuff and I tried to round the corners after the fact, it doesn't always work. Because I can't quite get it in there, flush the way you're supposed to. But that worked out pretty good. And then I had to decide on what to do for a ribbon. So I had some leftover seam binding. Went ahead and just trimmed some of that off. Sorry about going off frame there. I was trying to cut it along the fold, so I had it close to my face. There we go. I'm back. And I had to decide how I was gonna attach that. At first I was gonna just tie it but I didn't really like the way that turned out. Looked more like a bow. So I went ahead and undid it. And then just tucked it in, pulled it through the loop. That seemed to work better. I decided to kind of trim the edges at an angle. Yep, so there we go. And did it in 29 minutes and 14 seconds. Woohoo! At this point, I was just playing around. I had 30 seconds. I decided to add a few more strawberries. See if I made it. Did I make it? I did. Oh my goodness. Exactly 30 minutes. Fantastic. I was so excited. Alright, well, thanks for joining me for another 3 and 30. And these are our items. our little pocket with a belly band, big pocket, and our journaling card. And yeah, so thanks for joining me again. Thanks for my subscribers. Thanks for your support, and I really appreciate it. Next week is J for Jumbo. So I will try to get the voiceover done and get that one out. If not sometime this week, then definitely next week. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. God bless.